Hey, I'm Liz. I've been noticing something. The word uncertain seems to be cropping up a lot in the news, in conversations with friends, even here in my little patio area. There seems to be a lot of uncertainty. And initially, I kind of balked at that idea. And, I don't like all that negativity, but then it kind of started sitting with it because, well, I just wanted to sit with it and kind of untie it a little bit. It just doesn't feel all that groovy on the surface. But when I dove deeper a little bit and started looking at it, that was only one side of the coin. On the flip side, it's expanded and deepened my essence and feelings around being groovy. Yes, I know, the eternal optimist, but hear me out. I'm not losing my groovy. It's kind of like tree roots. The trees that never experience any push or pull of the wind, any types of trauma or any types of resistance whatsoever, they tend to have real shallow roots, kind of like the people that just don't go any deeper than the surface. Trees that have really deep roots that need to go down and find the nourishments and find the water sources and need that stability to hold them up in the wind. Those are the strong ones, and those tend to live the longest. Oh my goodness, how beautiful. With a hawk. We have a lot of those in the area. It's I want to talk to you about the hawk there for a minute. It's what we've been noticing. When you don't notice things on a regular basis, you don't take the time to feel deeply and notice, you don't train your mind and muscles to look for them. When I'm driving down the highway, I often see hawks perched along the path of rows there, along the lights and what have you. And I see them all the time. And it's like a serendipitous hug from the universe and from the hawk itself and Mother Nature. It's just fantastic. A lot of people don't do that. They don't exercise that muscle of noticing and appreciating what's right in front of us. Anyway, that was my hawk diversion. So let me get back on track. I might be able to, I might not. Okay, so talking about those tree roots, trees don't cling necessarily. Well, yeah, okay, I grew up on the coast of California, and some trees actually need to cling, but they send down roots that have to maneuver around the challenges and the obstacles. They have to find the nourishment. They develop themselves fully and grandly. And I don't know if you've ever seen one of those trees of life type of things, but they mirror that on the top. That saying, "As above, so below," or vice versa. I'm rambling. Let me see if I can get it. The roots are what hold the life force above. And as uncertain as things are, when we train our mind and we train our muscles to maneuver around the challenges and obstacles, we get stronger. And so, my understanding and rationale, as I accept it, is that I'm getting stronger. my sense of feeling groovy and happier is growing, not in spite of the obstacles, but because the obstacles are helping me exercise and grow in that manner. I double down on finding hawks, on listening to the water, on feeling the breeze on my face, of appreciating the smell of the salt in the air. Foggy days. Let's walk about the garden. This is my new strawberry arch setup. This little arch I found on the bulkway stay. It was broken, but I reinforced it. You see? Well, I didn't do the work. My brother did the work. But anyways, he reinforced it for me, both sides. It was cracked and going to go to the landfill, but I saw use in it. I saw purpose. I saw a strawberry arch. And as a result, I have strawberries. Mm. Mm. That was really sweet. Mm. Num, 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 num. Anyway, strawberries. I've got some, what is it called? A cigar plant or something along those lines right up here. And it will have blooms that the hummingbirds will enjoy. I've got a trailer here. Some trailing geranium there. Might need to fill that in a bit more robustly. But they're not all strawberries because diversity matters. For the most part, they are strawberries. This little setup is sturdier than it was before. These little strawberries didn't work where I had them previously. I thought I could defy gravity and put them here on the umbrella trellis, but that didn't work. But I didn't throw everything out. I didn't throw out my dreams. Here's some more. There was another planter that just didn't quite work. But I had these. They're up off the ground so the bunnies won't get them. And if the bunnies aren't attracted here, maybe I won't find any headless ones in my bed anymore. Thank you, Tom Tom. This was the little thing that didn't work before. I had one of those little tower strawberry things, and I don't know what was its problem, but it just didn't suit me. This looks like it's going to be better. I worked with this. I fiddled with it. I supported it. It supports me. I moved my tomato plant. This one was in the back 40 area where they put in, I'll show you that in a moment here, but I rescued it. It was going to get tilled under, and I decided, nope, I like my strawberries. Truly like my strawberries. I have lots of strawberries. Oh, you're not doing very well, though, are you? Might have to work on you. Ooh, yummy. Here's another one. This one, yeah, it feels ripe. See? Oh, it's going to be a good season. Being a gardener, it's filled with uncertainty, but there's some things you can control and some things you can't. You work with what you can and figure out workarounds. Not everything thrives in the first place we put it. I lost track of how many times I've moved these individual strawberry plants. And that one's just not doing well. I don't know. We'll have to see why he's not thriving. Anyways, the point is we don't start over. We rearrange, we reimagine, we play around with what's possible. And then there's this back 40. It's completely open now. Well, other than where I've did some weeding and haven't thrown it in the garbage yet, and had to move this so I could get to something else. Here's a little something I left out for the birds. I don't know how many are actually coming to find it, though. You would think it would be gone now. My neighbor left one out, and she said it was demolished within 2 hours, and she had intended on planting some of those seeds. This back 40, it's open now. It's completely open after decades of those old roots, and it's not filled yet. It's just a space. How often are we given a space to pause and imagine the infinite possibilities? And here's my sweet little calendula. It's my placeholder. She reminds me that there's infinite possibilities with pleasure and not so much pressure. This is my yellow plum. Of course, she's a dwarf. She will be when I train her out right. But this whole area, it's full of possibilities. And I have a lot in my head, but I'm not locked in yet. I'm not deeply rooting. I have some of my garden things I want to transfer stored up here against the house. They get the morning sun and that makes them happy. I think that's the season for me. Not exactly having everything figured out yet. Not rushing to fill in this space. Just finding my ground again. One of the things that I love about permaculture is that it teaches you to work with what's there, observe, adjust, respond, not to force things into place. Sometimes part of working with what's there is recognizing what doesn't belong anymore. This poor little thing, it didn't quite hold up to the plants that I put in there. It might be an opportunity to try something else, or maybe it just doesn't belong up here with all this reflective heat and wind and things that dry it out. And sometimes there's actually things that are toxic to the system, like the blasted oleanders. Those oleanders back there, that was a big job. Deep roots, years of growth, 550 square feet, over 12 foot high and over 2 foot deep roots packed into clay. It wasn't gentle work, but it was necessary work. Because once they're gone, there's space now. Space for something new, space for something that actually supports life. And I think that's part of finding ground too. Not just adjusting, sometimes clearing so we can expand, so we can nurture, and eventually so that we can share. And I have plans. I have intentions for that back 40 and even the patio. More changes to come. And my carport. Again, more changes to come. That's where the living is. And maybe, just maybe, my thoughts anyway, maybe this is just a small microclimate, itty bitty portion of what's possible globally. A small little representation in the start of a ripple. And that's the part that I love. Something that once felt heavy now feels spacious, expansive, and ready for infinite possibilities. Stay groovy, my friend.